Mailbag.
All right. We're back. SANDCAST. Going Kona mode. With the boys. Simo here
And the
for
girls.
the mailbag episode.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers to the off-season, not off-season, not sure where we're at.
I think it just became my off season as of a few hours ago.
How we doing, everyone?
I'm great. Off season.
Definitely your off-season. You're all about it.
Yeah, me too.
It's so
I know.
funny.
I was going for the sparkling waters, and I was like, wait, it's the off season.
It's Kona time.
No practice tomorrow?
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, I've just been texting everyone I know who has a semblance of any ability to golf. I'm like, golf.
Right.
Dragged Leela Tucker out there, and it was hilarious because
that's cool.
we were on the 16th hole, and Leela was just playing god awful. Tough day on the course, and he was just so mad. And I was like, well, put it another way. And we were playing till sunset. We finished at 7:10, so it was pitch black. And one of the guys we played with, he had a glow in the dark ball. It's pretty sick.
Dope.
But Leela was just so frustrated, and I was like, well, think about it this way: you could be playing your 5th match in a CBVA right now, and Kyle Friend's like, you could be warming up again. And Leela was like, I needed that perspective. I'm glad to be out here.
Be at Seaside playing the night game.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I
That's
like
fun,
the
though.
off season.
Yeah.
Just have a lot more time in the day
Yeah.
to do stuff.
So much time for activities. It's funny because I remember back when I was when I first became pro, still with Gabby, just girlfriend mode. It was my days it was just practice and then call all my friends what are we doing today, And then off season came and it was every day, all right, we're gonna go surf and then we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that.
Yep.
And now I'm okay, off season, here we go, we're gonna do all this stuff. And it's wife and kids. There's a lot more. And then all my friends are old now, and they have wives and kids, and go down the Rolodex oh, no one can hang out. What? It was so easy back in the day to just hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
Not as easy now. You got to schedule it a week in advance. Yeah. But we got our golf schedule for tomorrow.
Got our golf schedule for tomorrow.
Still surfing? Did you surf today?
I didn't surf today.
Okay.
But I really want to. I need to get out there. I had Nye all morning. See? It's the difference.
Dad duties.
I was literally
Girl
at
dad.
the beach looking at waves, being oh, wow, it's actually pretty good.
Was it good?
There's a good wave. There's a good wave. It's a lot better than you said.
Because it's been...
I went to Manhattan, and it was legit shoulder high.
Okay.
You could possibly steal some shoulders, which is good for down here. So it was a lot better than you said.
Yeah, well, my
The Maryland guys can't read the surf.
Imagine that. But I just have little Surfline app, and so I just look up, and it has the Hermosa Pier.
Yeah, so Hermosa's always bad.
Yeah. So that was my frame
It's
of
the
reference.
south of the South Bay. There's a line, and it's the Hermosa Pier. Anything south of that tends to just be trash. As you go further north, it gets bigger because it catches that south swell. Anyway,
Gotcha.
We don't need to explain.
The only way I can transport a board to Manhattan is either hitching a ride with you or just tucking one under my
Scooter.
electric scooter.
It's a little sketchy with the one-hand
Scooter, I haven't
scooter.
seen you on that.
I've taken it a couple times. When it was really hot, I would take it to the studio here. So when I sat down, I wasn't just drenched in sweat while we were
from the
podcasting.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Our chair appreciates
Can't
it.
go Sean Rosenthal on it.
Yeah, Rosie put some butt sweat on that couch.
Oh, that one?
It was no, yours.
This one?
Yours, where you're
Nice.
at.
Perfect.
That was 2-3 years ago, though, so
Yeah,
something
fun.
happened with it.
Yeah.
We never cleaned it.
Cheers.
Well, me and Tri are both in full off-season mode. I'm not playing again till Huntington, the tour series there, but you have a couple events coming up, right?
Yeah, next Friday I'm going to the Maldives and then Dubai. So, yeah, then I don't know what I'm doing after that. I don't know what I'm doing. I never know. Update for the fans. I still don't know what I'm doing. Just trying to figure it out. But yeah, that'll be sick. I mean, Evan and I are going a day or two before everyone else. We're going on Friday and get in early Sunday morning and kind of going to make a cool little trip. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime thing. I wasn't sure if I was going to play. And going to the Maldives, are you kidding?
Sick.
It's going to be insane. Dubai, too. And we have a lot of time in Dubai because it's way cheaper to be there than in the Maldives. So we're going to go there, right after the Maldives tournament. And the that finishes on, Sunday. We leave Sunday night. And then the Dubai one doesn't even start. The qualifier doesn't even start till Saturday.
Whoa.
Yeah, the qualifier Saturday, so we got a lot of time in Dubai.
I didn't know
so, hopefully it's cool. I've heard good things.
Yeah, it's interesting out there. It's
Have you been
definitely
there?
worth seeing. I've only flown through Dubai,
Yeah.
but been to Qatar many times,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's similar.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more wealthy in Dubai. I don't know how you get more wealthy than anywhere out there.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, you think of Dubai, it's like that crazy mall where you can ski inside and like the biggest building in the world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a whole chain of islands that's shaped like planet Earth that they didn't even use. Like, you ever hear about that?
No.
Yeah, you got to Google it. There's literally, they wanted to create like a community of islands. You can look at it right now.
Go on the map.
There's a community of islands, and it's shaped as like the globe. So you can like be like, I live on Africa. And they made it out in the ocean in Dubai. And then I heard that like once the project was done, like something didn't work out to where the whole thing was just a scratch.
It says the world
Yeah.
with all these little
So
dots.
you own
You see
these
that?
islands or whatever, and you live on them.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta like zoom out there.
You know what's weird is I actually looked up when I was trying to figure out where the Maldives were. I looked up Maldives, and then the first one that showed up was Maldives in like what did it say? Like in the United Arab Emirates. I was like,
Yeah.
Maldives, that's really close to Dubai, and I was like, wait, that's not the actual one.
I hope no one makes that
That's
mistake for real.
crazy though.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Huh.
The
Wow.
world
The
islands.
more you know.
Yeah, everyone learned something new. And then, but they didn't use it apparently.
I'll do my research tonight. Get back to you guys.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
It's amazing the things that you know just from playing beach
Traveling.
volleyball and traveling the
I
world.
know.
True.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny because I hear like Savvy say, I'm going to this tournament. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm like, that's what I thought on all my trips. And then I kept going back. And I'm like, oh, great. And that's not true. Like some of them, like Maldives, you don't know if you're going to go back. But like when it was my first time on the world tour, all the stops were like
Once in a
oh
lifetime.
my God, I'm in Germany right now. I'm
Yeah.
in Switzerland. I'm in wherever. And then now I'm like, oh, I don't want to go back.
Yeah, that's so cool. I'm exploring and it's fun. So then
Yeah.
after that, I don't know, Huntington or Orlando. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know what's next after that.
It's
I would
crazy.
like an off season.
Yeah,
I
season-
just don't know when it's gonna happen.
It goes for a while. Like I say, I'm in off season, but I'm just in like a 3.5 weeker, just like a lull.
Yeah.
Because then
It's
after
golf season.
Yeah, because I'm going on a golf trip with my brothers next weekend, and when I get back from that, then it's time to get ready again for Huntington.
Who are you
Yeah.
playing with in Huntington? Do you know yet?
JM probably.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Right.
But I
Probably
just signed up for the Cairo Challenger with Salila Tucker.
Dude,
Yeah.
that'd be sick. When is
So-
that one? End of November or December? It's late,
It is
huh?
right after Huntington.
It's right after Huntington.
So it'll be Huntington, Cairo, Thanksgiving, AVP, Orlando, or Central Florida.
Because you guys got into that one.
You are not
You
in
and
the
Jam.
off season.
So I'm just in like this brief
You're in a
break
little
that I'm
break.
making the most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go to Dubai
Okay.
and Cape Town. Now I think we might not go. Which basically, and then the Orlando event was like a toss up
Yeah.
anyway. So now I'm like,
Because it's so late.
do I have 4 months off now all of a sudden? Like I wasn't mentally prepared for that.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like, I don't really have much else to do this year.
Yeah.
World Tour just isn't motivating before Olympic qualifying for me right now. So yeah, I'm in a weird place. Like, I don't feel like I should be in the off season, but it feels pretty damn good when I say it out loud.
Yeah.
I got an email today from the. Who did it come from? It was like a Zoom. It was from, let's see, FIVB Athletes Commission. It says, Dear athletes, today we received a letter with points about which athletes are unsatisfied at the moment. And then
Yeah.
they sent a Zoom link. You didn't get on that, did you?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
It was today. It was
So
like
the
earlier
FIVB
today.
Athletes Commission is like the athlete representatives
Yeah,
of the FIVB,
yeah.
obviously, and the IBVPA, the International Players Association, is not satisfied with how the tour is, and because obviously, I mean, it's crap right now. Those players don't have the AVP tour, so I made 13
Yeah.
grand on the world tour this year. I'm not going to cut it,
No.
to make a real living.
Yeah.
And this is those people's full-time livings.
Yeah.
So the Players Association is trying to make a stand by making a public statement. And this, when's this episode coming out?
Julia comes out tomorrow, and then we're a week
Okay,
after
good, because
that.
we're not supposed to talk about it before it happens.
Yeah.
But in Paris, they're going to make a public statement about the dissatisfaction about it. And then the Athletes Commission just wanted to talk with the players first before it goes down
Before
or something
doing
like that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, just basically players aren't happy, and they're trying to make a stand like this isn't, we can't make a living. Like, we need to get jobs if this is going to be the tour. That's how they feel.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Olympics coming up and us being lucky to be Americans where we have the funding and the resources from USA Volleyball,
Yeah.
I would not be on the world tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, we have the AVP.
And AVP,
which, a lot of people, I mean, us included, will kind of rib the AVP a little bit for some of the, stuff
Right.
that goes on for the
That's
season.
true.
But it is the best tour in the world, domestically.
Yeah.
I mean, the system might have been funky sometimes, but anything you try for the first time is. But $2.1 million in prize money. Compared to any other domestic tour in the world, that's enormous.
Yeah.
And I still want to go back through.
We just remember like the early 2000s and
Yeah.
the 90s, and we're like always trying to get there.
Yep.
So our standards are, but you're right. We
Yeah.
always got to kind of be grateful for what we do have. Plus, we went through, the bankruptcy, and then Donald started building it up, and then COVID.
Yep.
And then Donald sold it, and then so we're just
Yeah.
always in.
Just riding the waves.
We're always on these waves, yeah.
But
we never got on top of a big wave yet.
Yeah.
Not really.
But I keep one of my off-season projects is to try to determine if how many players made a career high in prize money this year on the AVP, because I think it's probably a pretty substantial number, and to compare that with years past.
Well, it's not going to be anyone. Well, all the old players are retiring, so yeah.
Right.
But everyone on the AVP tour, like I'm an old veteran now, has only started since the bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So it's not really saying all that much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Casey. I'm interested to see how Casey's year stacks
We
up.
had
He didn't play at all.
Donald start with 3 events in
Yeah.
2012, and then he did like 5, and then he got up to like 7 maybe, and then we hit COVID, right? And during those years was Olympic qualifying, and top teams played in like 4 of
Yeah.
the 7. There was so much overlap, so it wasn't really ever too much.
Yeah.
Like a full season ever. This is the fullest season I've ever played on the AVP tour.
Yeah. It's awesome.
And then COVID and blah blah blah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean it is good. I think we're good.
Let's talk about obviously you were just in Phoenix. I kind of want to do a recap. We got a lot of questions about
Yeah.
everything about Phoenix. So I just want to hear like your opinion. It seemed like all the athletes based on just Instagram like really loved the event. Like so what was your thoughts
I
on
thought
it?
it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like everything you'd think of walking into an NBA arena, it felt like you were going to an NBA game kind of thing, like when you're in the stands and concessions, and I walked through the front and they had all the signs and the billboards, and it was players on it and AVP branding and sponsors, and it really felt like you were going to a big event. And then obviously we didn't fill the whole stands. They had it blocked off, but the court was pretty front and center, well lit up. VIP, which sold out like the first day or two. It was just epic.
Yeah.
The arena felt like it was like loud and pumping, and you could see the Jumbotron, all 4 sides was running. It just felt like a real big sporting event.
Yeah.
The sand was a little jumpy. There's no wind, so it felt like kind of indoor. It felt different, but I think it's sweet. Like that's our one-off event where the indoor guys are probably gonna be bombing their serves, like feeling more confident. And we had 4. The men's final was 4 ex-NCAA MVP indoor players in the final. And I thought it was really entertaining. The fans felt like they were comfortable. They can show up for 1-2 matches and not like have to like walk around and try to find somewhere to stand, or like, they just had seats. They're comfortable there to watch that one show. Everyone's watching one thing, not walking around the whole venue. And like, it's like, the crowd's decent today, but if everyone in this whole place was in one place watching, it would be awesome. And so we had that. I thought it was just epic. I don't think we need to run a whole tour as an indoor tour, but if we had like a one or two, or even like
three. Yeah.
Let's say we got up to 10 events, right? And we do the indoor series. It's not the gold series, but it's the indoor series.
Yeah.
You have those 3, then you have the gold series, which are the 3 bigs, and then 4 of the other ones.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Pretty cool.
It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like I was like, I wonder how Phoenix doesn't seem like a place that's super big on beach volleyball. Like I don't really know, but I was like, really, Phoenix? And then I was watching online, and I was like, I was worried that it was. I figured they would fill like the one side where the camera was gonna be.
I didn't even think we would fill that. I was worried about like we'd be like 10 rows up, and the camera would have to like pan down.
Yeah.
First match
full
of the first day. Yeah, that whole section was full.
That's really cool.
And then people started creeping in and like the wraparound, like to the corners. Yeah. It was great.
That's really awesome.
And if that's year 1 in Phoenix, you got to think year 2, 3, get word out there.
Yeah.
Even for like, get word out there for people to fly in. Like this can be the end of the year event that you go to every year if you want to go, like have fun, have drinks, go buy VIP, splurge a little. You're going to be comfortable. You stay at a hotel right there.
You're in AC. It's not hot.
It's not hot. Yeah. You can pick the matches you want to go to and, like, go to it. Mm-hmm. They're night matches. A lot of them are night matches. Yeah. Like, just really good vibes.
Yeah, it looked awesome. And I was excited. I was talking with Josh Glazebrook tonight because I was with you. I was a little nervous.
Yeah, I was like, great, a stadium, but can we get the first row full?
I was like, damn, dude, like you guys filled it up. This is awesome. And so I think there was 3,000 people on that first night, and then there was just under 7,000 on the second.
That's awesome.
That's great.
The crowd was loud too because it's indoors, so they could hear us. Like we knew they could hear us.
Yeah.
And we could hear them. So like if someone wanted to speak up in the crowd, the music wasn't like going loud the whole time. It was like Mark talking. And then you could hear us. There was a lot. It felt like the crowd was close to you.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah. It's a great job, AVP. Yeah. I was thoroughly impressed with what they were able to do.
And seems like everyone was happy
that was the Bally's partnership coming into hand, because Bally's sponsors the Mercury.
Okay.
Brittany Griner's team. X-team?
Maybe. Too soon?
Yeah, that's brutal. But they had a partnership there, so I think Bally's kind of pushed it, like, go play in this arena. Very cool. And I think they have partnerships with other arenas as well, or teams and arenas. So I'm hoping it turns into something.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you got to think that we're trying to creep closer to, we're at 7 events, trying to creep closer to 10, I would guess. So maybe one or two of those editions will be indoor.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool.
Did you like the 6-team format? Because you had a bye first round,
I love starting in the semifinals. As much as it's hard playing, obviously, all 4 top seeds lost. Obviously, it's a trap of, like, you're not ready to play in the semifinals, mentally and physically. You're just not, like, amped yet. Mm-hmm. Whereas the other team got to play a match and get the adrenaline going and stuff. I just thought in that arena and what we had, you don't want to put too many matches. It just confuses fans, and like, just you want them there for the main event. Like everyone come together, let's put on a good product all at once, rather than like a medium product all day long for 3 days. I'm biased, of course. If I want to be part of the top 6 and not have all the other teams I have to compete against. But I think it was a good call. I think fans liked it, and as like an invitational or 1 or 2 a year. I don't know if you want to do 3 that are only 6 teams. Like that's a bit much. I like it as the end of the year, top 6 end of the year. Like those teams earned it.
Yeah.
if you do more events, maybe bring more teams in. More.
I was
indoor
even
events.
thinking like just NCAA, like you could take top 8 and make it a more of a
Yeah,
like,
you don't have the buys.
then you don't have the buys. You can, I mean, I'm sure you can still do that in 2 days. I'm not really sure, but that's still half the normal main draw
Yeah.
teams, and then there's maybe a couple more games. But I mean, it went really smoothly. I guess that was just the only other thing I would think of is like maybe they did 8 people and did it kind of like the
Yeah.
NCAA. That was the only other thing.
It
but
would work.
I don't know.
I liked. I was talking with Al before because I did a little preview on it, and I just asked him how he got to the number 6, and he said, "Well, you know, the NBA is, gosh, I forget. It's what, a 32-team league with how many make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's
16.
Is it 32?
Maybe it's a 30-team league in the NBA.
NFL's 32, I think.
But it was like so roughly 40% make the playoffs in the NBA.
Right.
You know, 42% in MLB. Somewhere around that ballpark, and he goes, well, our normal draws are 16, so 6 teams
40%.
out of 16 is roughly that kind of 40%
Oh,
threshold.
that's cool.
So if you're doing a postseason format, it was a good explanation. I thought that was
I
perfect.
think
That's cool.
you invite the teams that are competing to win events every weekend. Teams that didn't show that they're really even going to compete to win. Those are the ones that I think it's appropriate to leave out, and I think we had those teams there. I think the only player that is part of that group but wasn't invited until Phil got sick was Andy.
Yeah.
Andy won Austin.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
He's the only one that was out of it that like really showed like, okay, this guy's competing to win
Yeah.
this particular season.
Yeah.
And that, every year that's going to change for sure.
And I like about Phoenix that they rewarded teams being teams, because the only reason Andy wasn't there was because he played with
He
Phil
jumped
and
around,
he played
yeah.
with Miles, and I like that they're incentivizing a team element.
Except for Zana and Pavin.
Well, their explanation for that was fine, I thought, because Zana and Brandy earned a spot, so it's not like them bringing Pavin in had taken a spot from someone else, because
Right, right.
Zana
Yeah.
had it, so that was cool. But yeah, I mean, you're right that.
Yeah, but also at the same time, it's like you don't want Zana to lose a spot because she earned it.
Exactly.
So it's like the Olympics.
Yeah.
Realistically, Taylor can't play, do you sub me and Trevor in? Yeah, that's probably the best bet, right? But no,
you can't
let
take
Jake keep his spot and he gets to bring someone in.
Yeah.
But like we were playing great ball at the end of the Olympic qualifying, and it would have made more sense to let us play, but I think when you earn the spot, you get to keep it.
Yeah. So I thought the whole thing was
Good stuff.
Really
and
well
fans
done.
that didn't show up, if you want to, like, end of the year, have fun, just unique event, very comfortable when you're there. Let's all meet in Phoenix. They need to have an after party set, I think, for fans and everyone, because it ends on a Saturday too.
Scott's Vegas.
So for once,
That'd be really cool.
we can actually like go out on Saturday and like the teams that are winning can party with everyone.
Yeah. Taylor Sander invited everyone.
He did.
Because we're
Oh,
partying.
did he?
Go
I
party.
went. It was interesting.
He grabbed the mic after Mark interviewed me. He was like, let's go party.
There was throwing up in taxis on the way back. There was sleeping in the clubs. And all by that team. No. Hey, it was proper, though. They earned
they
it.
won. They
They
earned it.
it.
And then I guess we'll close up the Phoenix thing with obviously the Casey Patterson.
Yeah.
Everything with that was so cool.
That was epic.
Yeah.
That was literally the best way you could possibly go. Because the lights turned off. It was like an NBA
it was so
intro.
cool.
The
And
whole
Geeter's just
Jumbotron.
insane. Yeah, he's
Geeter's got the
great.
whole crowd. Couldn't have been better for Casey, and I'm super happy for him. I think everyone was like emotional in the stands. Like, I was gonna go say hi to Casey, but I can't hold my shit together right now. I'll say hi later. His like wife's crying. All his kids are with him. 18-year career.
Yeah.
Like that guy's poured his heart and soul into it, and he's been so good for our sport too. Like showing other players how to like bring out their energy and like entertain the fans and engage with fans. He obviously won 18 times, which is crazy. And yeah, you could tell he's like hanging on with all he can, but he's got 5 kids and not on the world tour and should be retired. So it was proper. I was happy for him.
Yeah, someone asked here, why did Casey hang it up? Well, I mean, I feel
It
like
was
it's
just
just
time. Yeah.
The 5th baby just came and
Yeah, he can't train full time. Like
He can't train part-time.
He can barely train part time, and he has to be putting in twice as much time at his age. And as you saw in the match, like his vert wasn't ever that high, but it was just getting lower and lower. And he still played well.
He's still ding Chase in the head.
That was funny. I was like, you should have made that your last swing. Just walk off. Because that was like in the deuces, right? Like towards the end. Yeah. Anyway, happy for Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a lot of people asking, how did playing indoors affect your strategy? Like, I feel like for me, I love when it's windy. I feel like that, like, benefits me. And it changes the way I serve, and it changes the way I do things. So how did that, like, you and Trev specifically, like, how did that change game plans against certain teams? Or, like, did you guys have to change anything up that you normally do?
I think we just didn't do any of the win strategy stuff. You know, it wasn't like it's beach volleyball. You're always adjusting to what the elements of what they're giving you. If the wind's howling in your face, obviously you're going to be probably ripping top spin or, you know, short deep. I don't know.
For sure.
I can't say it changed my strat. I'm a jump server, so like if it's there, I go for my jump serve. If people pass well, they're jumping really high in there, and the sets are perfect. Like you saw a lot of long distance setting where the ball just stayed on that line.
Saw it on Bounce Beach.
Yeah, exactly.
Your highlight reel.
Yeah. Theo should have bounce blocked me there. I was like, I don't care if he's there. I'm going to rip this thing. I was like, I'm not surprised he didn't take that. It was indoor. Like the sets weren't moving. Nothing was blowing. You could jump high. So it was a lot of jump high, hit hard. I thought Partain had a really good, obviously he does his on 2 stuff, but he was swinging 80% really well, like keeping it high. And like when we saw him play Andy in the first match, he knew that the blocks were up big and was kind of like cuffing high. Andy touched the first like 6 balls that Partain hit and didn't get any of them. So I think that was good, because if you're swinging low, the blocks are getting up really big too, which I did at the end with Theo. It was the dumbest thing ever. So it was like, that 80% cuffing the ball, not trying to hit too low was the best bet, I feel like. Yeah. And then Sanders' jump serve was insane. Yeah. And then Lotman was getting a hold of it pretty good. Yeah. I felt like I was cracking some pretty good.
It blew my mind that in your match against Miles and Lottie, there were 0 aces. Because you're a really good server. And Lottie's a really good server.
They fought off. Lottie was hitting some good ones. But I felt like I cracked a bunch. And they were like diving for it. And then Miles like just hits it on 2 or something. Like, you know, off balance or whatever. It was like that kind of volleyball where if you're up near the net, just get up big and take a good crack, and there's a good chance. You could tell that's what Miles does indoors, right? He comes from the right and he swings with the left. Yep. And then he jump sets.
And he is long.
He was basically just playing UCLA indoor volleyball there.
Pretty much. Did you watch, I think it was the men's final, obviously. I'm sure you watched it. Yeah. Were you listening to the commentating? Did you hear Cameron and Dane? It seemed like they got into like, I don't know, they weren't in an argument, but they were talking about the serving. They were talking about the serving, and everyone's ripping jump serves, but everyone was like passing pretty well. And Cameron made a comment about like, you know, everyone's in system, like maybe someone should like throw in a float or like a short serve. And Dane was like, well, they have to keep serving aggressive. Like you can't just like. And Cameron's like, well, yeah, but like maybe mix it up a little bit. And then Taylor Sander throws in his like new off-speed like short serve and aces Miles Partain, And Cameron goes, there it is. Yeah, he did it. And Dane said nothing. And I was just sitting there like, oh my God, this is so... They've been commentating for hours together. I'm sure they're exhausted. And I felt the tension from my house. I was like, this is so awkward.
No,
but she called it on the serves. I was like, yeah.
That change-up jump serve is nasty when Sanders gets a hold of it right. I think Lotman hit a few too. It was just like indoor. Like that's what you do. You rip it at him, and then every once in a while you cuff it. I threw in some floats because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I'm bombing, but they're handling it. I mean, you're playing indoor. Like Lotman is an Olympian indoors. Like this is what he did with, and he wasn't a big, gnarly hitter. Like he came in to pass for teams. So, and Sander was on his national team. Like he was. If anyone's not going to be uncomfortable in that situation, it's probably Lotman. Yeah. And then Partain's now he's an indoor player right now. Yeah. And then Taylor Crabb, same thing. Like it's just what he does. Yeah. So nobody. It's just you just had like the best indoor passers out there. That's why there wasn't too many aces, but by far the highest velocity serves.
For sure.
It was all Sander. Like all of his serves were the highest velocity, but Lotman's were coming with pace. I felt like mine were coming with pace. Who else was cracking them?
Well, Miles Partain usually jumps, but he took it away. He was doing that deep float. Yeah. That was working pretty well. It wasn't acing people, but it was getting him out of system. Yeah. Because his jump serve was maybe the highest error rate of anyone. I mean, even higher than Sanders, and he didn't get nearly as many aces.
Missed a lot against us.
Yeah. So, Miles, he turned it back a little bit, and he jump serves pretty well now. He got a couple aces.
Yeah, I don't know why I always was surprised that he does that little short little float so often. Yeah. I'm like, you're a pretty big dude. Like, you should be putting people in trouble from the service line.
He has a nasty jump serve hybrid.
Yeah, he does his hybrid.
Slime ball. Man, that thing
But that's
moves.
not like, that's like his jump serve. He does it a lot.
Yeah, that's his go-to.
Like, Phil back in his prime is like, he's going to ace you. Like, that's what he's doing. Yeah. Whatever. How about the girls? I don't remember who was hitting them.
Well, I mean, Gina and Julia Scholes are like the only, with April out, Gina and Julia Scholes are really the only jump servers. Taryn has a really good jump serve now, I think. Serves,
and Kristen will she'll throw it in too, depending on, I think.
Kelly Chang has this funky hybrid serve
like,
that's gnarly.
She'll face, she did it to me at practice. Like, me and Em were training against him one day, and she, like, faces the corner in front of, like, the right sider, and it's like kind of the way her arm is, or I don't know if she's trying. I'm sure she's trying to do it, but it like looks like it's going to M on the left, and it dies like right inside of my left leg. I'm like, it's a really good serve, and then you pair that with Betsy's gnarly float serve,
fast flat float.
There's a fast one, like, and then she has like the short one too. I mean, those two together are.
Isn't Betsy like leading the tour in aces?
Kelly is actually.
Really?
Kelly is.
I think last year Betsy did.
Was like,
usually like number 2.
Yeah. And I'm like, she's just like booping it over there. Yeah. It's that Johnny Mayer flat. That's what he teaches at LMU, right?
Yeah,
like that's super flat.
The 3-point serve. It's like, all right, there's 1 point for pace, 1 point for the trajectory, how flat it is, and then 1 point for the float on it.
Like if it moves?
It has if you have like no spin on it and it's fast and it's flat. He's like, you do that 10 times, you're going to get him out of system. Plenty.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. But yeah.
And I worked with him a bit, and he had me experimenting.
Yeah.
A lot of different serves.
Yeah.
Like all these different side spins. He actually got my top spin going. I did it like in Manhattan, Chicago, and like I got more aces than I've gotten like in one tournament in the entire over the entire season. I was like, wow, maybe I should have been doing this like.
Mayer's a genius.
Trevor used to play with him, and after he played with him, he started deciding he's a float server, and like that's when he started getting people in trouble with his float serve.
Yeah. Trevor's float's one of the tougher ones that I have to pass.
When it's on, people are scared of it.
Yeah. He hits the best line-to-line serve, I think, of anyone. Because I remember when I was playing with A-Rob and I would leave my line a fair amount. Yeah. Trevor would tag that thing like 5 times out of 5. I was like, all right, I should probably go stand over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just came out with, did you come out with the men's? I saw the Volley Mag women's side. Did you do the men's side as well?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen that one
I
yet.
didn't see it either.
But yeah, you want to give a
Men's
couple
came
shout
out?
outs to all your award winners? I don't know if you can remember them off the top of your
we got
head.
our team of the year.
You.
It was no surprise
Pulled it
there.
off.
You're the only one who won multiple. You won 3. This year was the way I headlined it was kind of like Year of the Hawaiians, because you and Trev won a bunch. There was
I was gonna say Paula and Chris Crabb kind of won the tour.
no kidding.
Taylor or Trevor was only not in 2 finals, I think.
Yeah, so it was,
Wow.
it was funny because the only other team who really consistently performed came and Theo, and now they are sort of loosely affiliated with Hawaii via Laird Apparel.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they got their Kauai connection.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we got our team of the year there. I had Miles as the MVP, and that was tough because it was between you, Trevor, and Miles, and I was like, I have no idea how you'd really differentiate because all of your hitting percentages were within, fractions of each other. Miles led the tour in digs per set by a lot. I thought he served well, but I just thought like the value he added to his individual team was higher than anyone,
Right.
which is a tough standard
Yeah.
for you and Trevor. But I just think like you take Miles away and you put him with anyone, and I think he has that same year versus, say you put a different defender with Lotman.
Right.
I think he would have a tougher time having the success he had, which
Right.
is, not any shade on Lotman. It's more praise for Miles.
Yeah.
Like his ability to take over games is absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
MVP for the women was Kelly Chang. It's funny because I was looking at it like both the MVPs were people who option more than anyone. Their just abilities just take over.
Yeah.
But Kelly hit like 600 in Chicago, which was nuts. And she made 0 errors in their semifinal against Kristen and Taryn.
Yeah.
Best offensive players were Kelly Chang and Phil. Defensive was Partain and Sponsel.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I thought I saw who led the tour in hitting percentage on BVB info.
For the guys?
Yeah.
I think it might
It
have
was
been me.
you, bro. I was like, what?
Yeah, sneaky, baby.
Ew.
I don't think I would.
Best attacker, bro. You should have gave yourself the award.
I think you probably need a minimum matches played.
Right. Saw that, though. I got to give you a shout out.
Yeah, because
Come
I
on now.
saw they put a little graphic up on the Phoenix thing. I was like, I didn't know I hit like 580. So I'll take it.
Hell yeah.
And who knows how reliable the stats are, but I was like, it's the same stat keepers for everyone.
Exactly. I wish they could
Your
do
one game where you hit like, what was it? What was your stat that one game?
I had, against Evan and Bill, they had me at like 18 for 18. And I know that Evan dug me one time.
Yeah.
So I was like, they missed that one. So who knows? But I'll take
pretty
it.
No, but
doing
didn't you
good.
have one where you had like your hitting percentage? You had like
They had me
something
at,
crazy. Your like attempts, your kills and attempts were the same with I don't know. I forget. It was
in
some
Manhattan,
crazy. Yeah.
they had me like, whatever, like 46 for 46 with
Yeah.
4 errors.
Yes.
I was like, that math doesn't
Yeah.
add up.
Yes. That was the one. It's like, oh.
And I was
Close.
bummed because I was like, I wish we had reliable stat keepers
Yeah.
because I actually cited out really well.
Right.
But not that well. I was like, give me 42 for 46.
Yeah.
That's
There's
fine.
so
It's
many
fine.
Take
stats.
it.
There's so many stats they could do that could tell like great stories about the year and like how it actually played out rather
Yeah.
than just like looking at wins and whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I wish they had like blocks per attempt or day, you know, because as a
Right.
split blocking team, now you can't win in digs or
Exactly.
blocks.
Yeah.
You could, but you'd have to dominate. Like
Yeah.
you have
And
half
that's
the
why,
attempts.
That's why I like doing our own awards because for a while, for the past couple of years, it was me, Ed Chan, and Lee at Volleyball Magazine who did them. And Lee was more of like making sure we didn't make any egregious errors
Yeah.
and it was just me and Ed. But then Ed passed away in Chicago last year, and so I just did it myself.
Oh,
but I put
sure.
you on like the best blocker list because you were like 7th in total blocks, but you only block half
You
the
have
time.
half the time.
Right.
And so I like did the math and factored that in. I was like, yeah, I mean, then his blocks per set was actually pretty astronomical considering blocks per
Yeah,
opportunity.
you never know.
They did like something in Phoenix, like during one of the games in Phoenix, they showed like top men's blockers, and it was like Logan and Theo, and I mean I don't really remember, but I don't know if you were
Andy
on
or
there.
something.
Yeah, my mom's like, why is Try not on there? I'm like, because he blocks half the time, literally half the time. So, yeah, you don't really think about that.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks of you as, like, the top blocker or one of the top blockers, but, like, the stats, it's like you don't get the stats because you block half the time.
When I split block, I have to, like, let go of those.
Yeah. But, like,
blocker,
I don't look at those stats. They give me anxiety.
When I was fully blocking, it was me and Theo and Phil and Jake.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah.
And I was, you know.
And now Andy's kind of putting himself in that mix. Theo was our men's best blocker. For the women, it was Brandy, who led every single event she played. She led the tournament in blocks.
Yeah,
it's not surprising.
I thought that was pretty wild, especially considering because she didn't make a final. Like, and that's just pure blocks, not blocks per set. And so she was out blocking people despite playing less volleyball.
Yeah, well, the people who played in the final might have been in the winner's bracket more.
It's true. It's a fair point.
But that's why we need the stats. How many sets did these people play?
And that's why I did like percentages or blocks per set, digs per set.
Either way, you know Brandy's.
And Brandy's so crazy. Gnarly. Yeah.
And she's undersized. Not for girls, but compared to the biggest blockers.
She's pretty undersized.
She's only 5'10".
Undersized in terms of average blocker?
Maybe not on the AVP, but World Tour, I think for sure. Because, I mean, if you think about it, her and Delaney are the same height.
Oh, yeah, wow, that's crazy.
Are they really
and
only
Delaney
5'10"?
seems so teeny. Yeah, Brandy's got, like, pretty long arms, and she just jumps so dang
there's no
high.
way I thought I was 5'10". I'm not. Definitely not.
We need to do some official measurements of every player on hard ground, no shoes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Brandy jumps insane. Her arms are super long.
That's another thing.
She got the extra length with the fingernails. That you never know, it might help a little bit. Dude, she's a beast.
Just giving fans stats of like, okay, this person is this height with this wingspan. This is how far over the net they reach. Mm-hmm. It just tells such a good story.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that all the other sports have. We're like, there's probably a whole office full of people that are dedicated to that.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
It's nuts when I read, stories on pitchers in baseball, and they measure RPMs on fastballs versus RPMs on curveballs. Like, they're tracking the spin rate in golf. They have all these crazy stats. I was watching the President's Cup all weekend. It's like, when he's outside of 12 feet, he's putting at 68%. When he's inside 5 feet, it's like, damn, man, these stats are awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And
they pull stuff out of nowhere, like football and But it's cool. It tells us it's entertaining.
Yeah, I think the AVP's it's progressively gotten better with the numbers. Still a long ways to go.
Yeah,
because you can't finish a tournament 46 for 46 with 4 errors.
Right.
It's just math.
Just the math's not adding up there.
But it's getting better, especially as the tournament gets later. I think the finals are usually pretty accurate. Semis are pretty accurate, but when you're on the outer courts in Manhattan and you're match 57 on the weekend, you might not get the best best performance from anyone on the court.
That's fair.
That's true.
Yeah. How about Sarah Pavin in the skirt?
Oh, I loved it.
Oh my gosh, awesome.
Man, Pav, she ever since her and Mel split, she's just seemed like lighter. I feel like just having that pressure taken off and just like playing volleyball kind of for fun again has been so cool for Pav.
I didn't think it was very heavy playing with Mel, like the most bubbly, happy person ever. But but I like the pressure of like winning. No teammate, I guess. Yeah. Being the world champs.
I think just playing like Laguna for fun and playing with whatever outfits on I wanted to pick out. Because Delaney beat Pavin in the semifinals of Laguna.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting in the recovery tent after, and Pavin comes up, like, didn't have to, totally unprompted. And she was like, I just want to say, you guys played awesome, and it sucks that you beat us, but you played great. Like, Delaney, your pull digs were ridiculous. I don't know what they are, but I don't like them. And Kelly, you played awesome, and you played great, and good luck in the finals. And I was like, that was really cool of Pav to do.
Yeah.
And then
unexpected. I mean, I've only played against her one time, and she was pretty gnarly, but she's obviously the top, like one of the top players for a reason, and very competitive. But like, I went and trained against her and Zana like the day I trained against them on Thursday, and they left that evening, and she was so great. And Zana's talking about the outfits, and Pavin's like, just tell me what to wear. I'll be there. Like, what color you want, whatever you want to wear. And Zana mentioned the skirt or the dress, and Pavin's like, yeah, we'll see. Like, I don't know. And it was so funny to see. Like, it was great to see that. Like, It's really cool.
I love watching
Yeah.
people have fun. It's fun.
Yeah. It's fun to see people have fun.
Yeah.
Makes me smile. Yeah.
So good for them.
They
And
were
I
great.
have-
They were great this weekend, Zana and Pavin. And, I mean, they had two practices together before they left. And
Yeah.
then maybe one the morning of game day. So that was impressive to see them play
Zana,
together.
honorary Canadian this year. Just playing with all of Canada's best
Yeah.
blockers.
Best lefty blockers.
Played with
Yeah.
Brandy, played with Pavin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think's going to happen with Pavin and Mel now? Obviously they split. Brandy and Sophie are in Paris, right? You don't
Yeah,
know?
I mean,
do you
I
have
think-
the inside scoop? Not that I don't know
No.
if you can disclose, but
I don't know anything.
No.
I think the big question everyone is asking is what if Brandy goes with Mel.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Brandy has the keys to the car.
Yeah.
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 I think if you're the Canadian Federation, that's probably what you're rooting for because then Sophie's a natural fit to play with Pav.
Oh, that's true.
And then you have two elite teams versus right now. I don't know what blockers Mel has available to pick up.
I mean, the next best team is the McNamara's, right?
McNamara's.
So, I mean, one of them get picked up by
I think they're
Pavin.
sticking it
but,
out.
But, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, because I think the Max.
They're probably like, oh, perfect. Like, if we stick together, then we don't let another team
exactly
come together.
and they're
Yeah,
they're so
yeah.
big.
Yeah.
And then we're the second
And
team.
you know 'em.
Yeah.
Like they want to
Yeah.
play together so bad,
course.
and I think that they probably would view it as this is our opportunity
Yeah.
to make the Olympics as a team.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So who knows? So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think Molly McBain's a good defender, but I think
She is really good.
Leah Monkhouse.
Yeah.
I don't know the next blocker available. I mean, the blocker
Mm-hmm.
that Heather Bansley played with in Vancouver Open's solid, but it would be a project.
Yeah.
For anyone that they pick up. If there is no switch up from Brandy and Sophie.
Yeah.
So
Time
we'll
will
see.
tell.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess the next one, I got a couple questions about Miles and Andy, and then I have a lot of questions about like who's Zana going to partner up with, if you guys have any predictions. But so Miles and Andy, they're going to the Maldives and Dubai, right? And then after that, we don't know.
Yeah.
It's just we'll see.
Yeah. And Miles is still at UCLA.
Yeah.
And I know that Miles is just like the greatest kid in the world.
He's very focused on UCLA, like
And-
very.
Because he just looks at it as, I think Miles is just so calculated. He's like,
Yeah.
I committed to UCLA first, and I have that
100%.
commitment. And I told Sprague I'd give him however many years, and I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And I think Sprague gave him permission to go play these fall events with Andy. So it's awesome. I mean, I love to see that Miles is getting out on the international
needs to,
tour because
yeah.
I think he's one of the best players in the
Yeah.
United States, and I think his game will transition perfectly to the
Yeah.
World Tour because you were just talking about how physical he's gotten. Like everything is just high, snappy,
Yep.
which is the way you play.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited for him. I don't know what it'll look like in the spring when he's competing with UCLA and probably can't travel,
Yeah.
but
I
we'll
also
see.
have a lot of people saying they want you guys to host him on here.
No, we want him on.
Yeah. I
Have
talked
you
to
tried?
him. I
Yeah.
talked to him 2 days ago. And he goes, "Yeah, now's not a good time. Maybe." He's like, "Let's connect back in the spring." It's like,
Oh
all right.
my god.
That kid is
He's
focused.
So
Yeah.
cute.
And I was like,
He's
"Miles,
so wholesome.
I was like, Miles, we've been here for a while. We're not going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Chairs open whenever you're ready, buddy."
So many people ask, when are you
Yeah.
getting Miles? I'm like,
Yeah,
whenever
so
he
for all
wants.
the
Yeah, whatever
I have,
he
like
wants.
a bunch of people asking, whenever so at some point he'll be on here.
Message him, you guys. Don't message us.
Yeah.
Tell him to get on here.
And he's
Yeah.
not on social media, so you can't.
Oh, well, good luck.
Okay, I think he
Of course
does
he's
have
not.
an Instagram, but he like doesn't use it. Like he got like the AVP tagged him in an Instagram one time or something like that,
Okay.
and I
Why
clicked
would
on
he
it and
not
there's
have
like
an
0
Instagram?
posts. There's
Okay.
like no post or anything.
It's beyond like the focus thing. Like, I don't want to be distracted and all that. Like, I'd pay someone to do it or something because you can get sponsors off that.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially with the NIL
especially
stuff.
with what he's doing. Like, you're
Yeah.
playing in front of all these fans. You might as well just start growing your following.
Yeah.
Post a few pictures.
yeah.
Use emojis if you don't want to talk. That's my advice, Miles. Well, I look at like Buttinger. He doesn't have a social media following. Like, oh my God, if you just had a social media that whole time you're in the NBA,
Yeah.
you come to the beach with 100,000 followers. Now you have sponsors.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, he's has money,
He's okay.
but still, like,
Yeah.
He's okay.
I'm sure he would have.
But social
liked
media,
to
it's
do
so
that.
easy in terms of
Just put your real self out there. If you have money, then hire someone else to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just posting pictures.
Yeah.
and being honest.
We do that.
Yeah. Even we can do it. Anyway, next question.
How's he doing, by the way? The baby, he just had the baby, and it's good. Does anyone know?
Yeah, I think it's just standard newborn baby life.
Not sleeping.
I see Jess. Yeah, exactly. Not sleeping.
I remember,
She's like, oh.
man, A-Rob was trying to get him to play the Myrtle Open.
Yeah.
And I was talking to A-Rob, and he goes, yeah, I tried to get Chase, and Chase was all gung-ho. He's like, yeah, I'm going to do all these FIVBs, and I'm going to do Myrtle Open. And Adam's like, well, you're going to have a kid, so, we'll see. He's like, no, it won't matter. Like, I'm going to do it. And then A-Rob, I was talking to A-Rob, and he goes, yeah, Chase isn't playing that. He's like, no, man, this is hard.
Yeah.
A little harder than I thought.
Yeah.
Well, you're not dealing with your kid only. You're dealing with your wife. Like, when you're not there, your wife's getting beat up by the kid and, like, trained.
Yeah.
And so now that's your job, is to, like, make sure she's sane. It's like, okay, it's not just about the kid. It's, like, all of our energy in the house.
How funny was Troy in Phoenix in that last game?
Troy's built for that. That's, like, his favorite.
Yeah.
Especially in, like, a who cares if you win kind of match. And, like, let Casey have fun. That's like, come on, in a stadium.
Yeah.
I saw him in the locker room with his shirt. I was like, okay, all right, Troy.
Yeah.
Troy.
Get out there, buddy.
Casey Patterson
Go
Jr.
have fun. Yeah.
Literally.
Just loves it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, who do you think Zana's going to play with?
I don't know.
You're on the women's side. You got the scoops.
No. I wish I did. I don't even know what I'm doing, so I don't know. No, but she's playing with Julia in these challenger events coming up, so maybe they'll do well. But like Julia and Gina had such a good season, like I don't know how I don't think they would split up, but like who knows? Like it just depends. I think Zana's obviously like she wants to do the international stuff, whereas Gina doesn't. So that could be hard for Gina, like to keep someone like Julia who wants to do the international stuff as well. Like I mean, Zana, she's one of the top defenders, but this season was tough for her because playing with Brandy, they did so well on the AVP, but then it screws her for like international stuff because naturally everyone wants to go play with someone who they can do both with. But Zana is someone who deserves to, be competing for a spot like in the at least for the stipend. I don't know if she's in the stipend. I don't really keep up with that stuff. I should ask Evan, my agent. Evan, he got all the numbers. But I don't know. I guess we'll see how they do and go from there, or will her and Brandy like re-partner up? After the whole thing in Chicago, like I'm not sure how that all ended with Brandy playing with Mel. Like I don't really know how that ended with her and Zana, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe she'll go with Pavid next year for AVPs. I don't know. So
Zana somehow discovers her Canadian passport out of the blue.
Yeah. You never know. But yeah, I don't see any partner shakeups happening on the women's side. TKN, they're strong. They're going for it.
Yeah.
And then Betsy and Kelly. I mean, Sarah and Kelly and Therese and Sarah. I don't see any weird shakeups on that.
Yeah.
On that end, unless.
The thing is, everyone kind of has to keep it.
It's too soon.
You don't. Even if you have something on mind, you don't really.
Like, do you think Troy and Chase will stick together?
Probably not.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it, but who knows? It's been a long year,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's tough to say.
You're not going to know until
I know a lot of people want us to give
Christmas
predictions,
time,
but
New Year's.
there's not much to.
Yeah, I think AVP, the Central Florida one might be our kind of the preview of who might be
maybe
testing
people
out.
want to sample each other.
Yeah, I think that might be kind of a test event for some people, just to see, not even necessarily if they're good at volleyball together, but if they just like vibe well together.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Because I don't know if anyone's going to be good at volleyball on December 2nd.
Exactly.
I'm going to try my best.
Fair. You guys are gonna kill it. That's so funny. So I guess, it's our off season kinda. So Cole, how do you say his last name? Aidnick? Yeah. He asked, how do you get the most out of an off season? In your guys' opinions, you've had off seasons, I'm sure. Like what's I don't know, some people like continue to practice.
Yeah.
Lift really hard. Some people take a lot of time off of volleyball. Like, what's kind of what's worked for you? What's worked for you? Like, what do you guys think? Because I can't really give. I don't think I've ever had an off season yet, so I can't give much insight. I don't know. Rest, mental rest would be good. That's what I need right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you guys think?
It changes every year, and there's no right answer. It depends on the person. I think I've kind of tried it all. It's just a balance. Like there's no right answer. You need the mental rest. You need to just like not think about volleyball, relax, and recharge your batteries in terms of like wanting to play and being excited. You need the physical rest. But then beyond that, it's like, how can you maximize getting better? Is it film? Like, can you do little things? For me, I used to take a lot of time off and then just go back all the way in. And then I'm trying to add little things in here that, like, this isn't going to burn me out or make me feel like I'm in season, but it is going to help me get better, like little film sessions here and there. I don't really stop working out fully too much, maybe a week off. But, like, I'm going to go to my trainer this week and just let him start rehabbing me. And for me, that's exciting nowadays, where I'm like, okay, now I get to build my body how I want to. Like, rehab the stuff I need to rehab for the first however long it takes, but then build it up in a way that I'm, like, excited to bring this new weapon back into season. And then, calibrating your reps and thinking about the things that you want to change in the next season, the whole mindset of the team. That's what I've learned over the last few years, is like being a leader. You have to really like bring the team together and like get them bought into one goal, figure out who your team is. For some people, it's hard. Like, I was just in, like, today's day one for me basically. And I was just in USA, like, trying to brainstorm, and just like, wow, this is going to take a while to figure out what I want to do, especially this year where now we're entering the Olympic quad. I'm like, okay, what are my real goals that I'm going to have enough energy to actually pursue.
Well, and tournaments will start when, you think? February?
You got to guess. I guess it'd be safe to plan on the first week of February.
Yeah.
Realistically, it might be March. Who knows? They might throw one at the end of January. There is one at the end of January. It's the World Tour Finals, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not playing in that. So, it's an opportunity to get really strong. Like, how do you want to... at the beginning of off-season, think of, okay, day one of next season, how do I want to feel physically? What do I want to look like? What do I want my weight to be? How much will I've wanted to learn? Like, I want to study defense and figure out how I want to, you're not going to have it all calibrated by then, but you can at least have a good idea of what you're working on and why. And I don't know, you just find little ways to get better without, like, burning yourself out, and knowing that you can come into the next season, like, fully energized and excited to take on that challenge.
Yeah. It's like such a personal thing, like,
it's
what an off
personal.
Season should look like. Because I think,
and it's year to year.
Huh?
Year to year is different. Like, different seasons are different.
Yeah, you've probably had 10 different off seasons. They probably looked radically different, because I think it really just depends on, like, three major factors. Like, what does your mind need? What does your body need? And what does your game need?
Right.
Good so point. I think, like, looking at where Cole is right now, like, I would say he's sort of where Baranek was at, like, the beginning of 2018, where Baranek was like almost making main draw and almost making main draw, and he was right there, and you're like, it's just a matter of time. I remember I played Cole in the final round of the Denver qualifier. We played him, I was like, we lost the first set, and we were down like 11-10 at the tech in the second, and I was like, this kid is amazing. He's the best player I've played against all year. And then, but I guess just like, he didn't end up making a main draw, so he's just like kind of streaky. When he's on, like, he's freaking good.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you're Cole, if you're burned out, maybe take a little break and watch some film of defenders who are like you, and then get back in and ready to play. But I remember, like, when I was sort of in that phase where I was like, I wanted to use the off season because I knew that everyone else was taking time off. I was like, well, mathematically, that's where I can make up the most reps and lost time, and just try to do it in a way that I'm not going to come into season just burnt to a crisp. And so now that, like, now I know that my mind needs the recharge of just not playing.
Right.
And so my rule is just like, if someone asks me to play, it's got to be no jump. It's got to be fours or something that would be a ton of fun, and just to get out there. Like, I had a blast with Troy against you guys.
Yeah. Right.
And that was like an exception that I made. But I don't know, surf. Play
There's
golf.
also, like, go play by yourself. Like, don't drag your partner out with you. do something separate because you're going to spend the whole year together in very tense environments. So, like, don't spend your whole off-season together, which is really a difficult thing when your partner's, like, your best friend. And we go home to Hawaii together. It's like, oh, I don't want to hang out with you, but all right, let's go surf. All right. Oh, we're all going to hang out together tonight, too.
Yeah.
Why am I at Trevor's house now? God damn it. I can't get away from this guy. But I do think about it. I'm like, I got to give the guy some space because we get sick of each other on the road. Like, I get sick of anyone. I get sick of my wife.
Yeah.
We all get sick of each other when we hang out too much.
Yeah.
I could play tournaments with someone else and give your partner a break from, like, hearing you nag in their ear, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to get on them, and they're going to have to get on you in season. So give them a break in the off season and focus on you a little more.
Yeah. I think my rule of thumb now is to, like, don't start practicing again until I'm itchy.
Yeah, that's a good sign too, where
practice.
you're like, I want to. Yeah, exactly. Itching to practice.
Yeah, because towards the end of the year, I was like, man, I got to go again. It's like, I don't want to.
Uh-huh.
But I knew. I mean, I had the countdown. I was like writing in the journal. I was like, 2 more days, 1 more day. Laguna's over.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's real. I guess another thing that I don't know if we've talked about it here, but, like, the whole coaching process, that was another one that got brought up. Like, what, and again, I feel like this is something that's also dependent on your partnership and, like, but, like, I mean, how you can talk about the process with Jose and then Leandra. Have you had a coach that you've
like
worked
getting
with,
a coach?
consistently?
Not really.
Yeah, like getting a coach.
It's really
and
tough.
The people are asking, like, your percentage. Like, I feel like a normal one is, like, I mean, each coach charges a certain rate, and then what I've seen consistently is, like, 10% of the prize.
10%.
Prize fund is normally.
Usually
like,
people are around 10%ish, and the team decides, or the coach might say, like, I can't do it for this amount, and the team can. That's the toughest part about our sport is most players aren't getting paid enough to pay for a coach.
Yeah.
And the players who are getting paid close enough to pay for a coach, and, like, this is, like, a full-time job. Would you call it a full-time job to be a World Tour coach?
Yeah, I mean, look at Evie, man. He's driving an hour.
So these people are masters at their craft. Mm-hmm. Full-time job. You can't pay them $80,000 a year, like what they deserve, which is, like, I don't know. That's average for someone who's this good at what they do.
Yeah.
Or whatever, $60,000 a year. I don't know what the right price is, but we can't pay them that. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And that's what they deserve. So the top players do get coaching funding from the national team, and we have that. So it's tough. But I've, like, said to myself when I was at Huntington, I was like, we're getting a coach. I'm getting a coach, and I'm never not going to have a coach again.
Yeah.
Obviously, if that's not on the table at some point, I can't help it. But you find a coach and see if you can figure out the funds and pay. We pay per practice, and then it's like them doing a private lesson kind of thing, you know. Mm-hmm. And then we pay them, the 10% prize money, plus they get their national team funding, and the better you do, the more funding they get. So you're really, like, all in it together, which is what I like for coaching wise. They need some guarantee, but I like them being bought into the prize money as well, and incentivized to win. I think that's a big. So, like, if I didn't have money to pay, maybe per practice or whatever, maybe I'd jack that up to, like, 25, like, higher. I don't know, 50% of your price, depending on what you're going to make. So it's like you just know that coach is bought in. I don't know. I think it's worth it, though. Like, it's certainly helpful to have a third brain, someone else to talk to, someone else to, spill your frustrations to, so your partner doesn't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because you do need to get those things out, but your partner, like, can't handle their own stuff and your stuff the whole time, and you're on the road alone and tired and jet lagged, and so you need that coach to be there in between. So maybe you're frustrated with your partner and you go to your coach about it, and then your coach goes to the partner and then comes back to you, and then there's no tension between you two.
Yep.
And you can step on the court together, and I don't know. It's huge. It's just the problem is getting a coach is really difficult. And then there's not that many coaches, let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's not that many people who are good enough to do it.
There's not that many,
So, you're lucky when you find someone who's, like, willing to dedicate themselves to that craft.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, the practice organization. You know, when you get just
Exactly.
4 people
Setting
out
up a
there, it's like,
practice.
what do you want to do? Well, I want to do a little bit of serve receive, and then after half an hour, everyone's like, well, let's just screw it, let's just play set.
Bro,
You know?
I'll probably retire if I have to go back to that, because I'm so like used to having the coach and like telling, hey, pass this ball to my left leg so I can practice this move, and you know I want to do like very specific things. So like group practices, I'm just like, unless we're just like what we did, we're like, hey, we know we want to play scrimmage today. Show up, warm up, scrimmage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like other than that, like I remember when I first came out on tour and just was playing pickup practices, like, can I jump in? I was like, this is terrible. Like nobody knows what they're doing out here, and we're wasting so much time. I could have done all this in 40 minutes.
Talking about what you
Talk and being distracted rather than a coach being like, hey, shut up. You're distracting everybody. Like, stop talking about football.
Yeah.
Like, get to work.
And you also, you lose an arm when you don't have a coach. I mean,
You
just
need an arm,
having an arm
exactly.
there, like, I love practicing with you guys because not only do you have Leandro, who was our coach of the year.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yep. And Scott Davenport was coach of the year for the women.
Oh, there we go.
So not only do you have Leandro, who I think has the best practice arm of any coach
For sure.
I've ever
He
had.
hits harder than anyone.
And, like, you could put a dime over there and say, Leandro, hit that dime 10 times. And he'll put pace, perfect spin, hit that dime 10 times out of 10.
He's got the best arm in the South Bay.
Yeah.
For coaches.
Yeah. But just having
sure.
that, I mean, your reps are just so exponential when you have a coach there, just the shoulder alone. And then, you know, you got Dan bringing morale, but also the ball cart's
Good
never
morale.
empty.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Dan's there.
And they just understand, they're bought in. It's not like shagging balls. Like some people might be like above that. Like, I'm not going to just show up and shag balls for these guys. Like, I'm not their bitch.
Yeah.
But it's really like, no, like, you're just helping us get our rep. Like, we all have one goal of this practice, whether it's running and grabbing our water, like small stuff. You just, like, when coaches just get it, like, there's no ego involved, if anyone here. But sometimes you got to do the dirty work as a coach, and just to make that, maximize that practice and what we're getting out of it. And those guys really understand that. And it's tough as a coach. Like, you have to take a step back out of the spotlight. That's why it's hard for players to do it, you know, to like start coaching after their careers, because it's like you have to do a lot of the bitch work and,
For little money.
But just to understand, like, I know what these players need to perform. And then, you know, you might not even get a shout out after the game. Like, they won, they get all this, and you just in your own zone, like, yes, I did a good job.
Yeah.
You just have to know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you worked
It's a
with
long
anyone
answer.
consistently?
Besides Stein and Jenny, but Jen
college is great.
Snyder, you know Jen.
Yeah.
So she's like Scott actually coached her, Scott Davenport. So I worked with her with Tony. I actually met her in the Turks and Caicos trip, the one that Albie runs, and she was great. And
She's like the queen of those fun
oh yeah, she's good.
trips.
She's great.
That's how
she's
I went. The
great.
only trip I ever went on with her was Guam.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It was just party and volley and all that proper stuff.
She's really good at that stuff. Yeah. And it's honestly impressive, like to be on and be good at those things, because like you have to like be drinking but be coaching and be social and like do all that together. Like I mean it's impressive. But she like came to one of Tony and I's practices like early on this season before Austin, and was like laid into us and was like super into it. We went and got breakfast. She told us everything. Like, she thought like if she were to be our coach, what she thinks and what we need to work on, all these things. We're like, whoa, okay. Like, and Tony and I are in really a position to like be paying someone 5 days a week to coach us, but 2 to 3 times a week I think was like, how can we pull it off? Like, you know, maybe. But this was before Jose got hired too for like the USA development program and stuff. So, you know, we took her to Austin, we took her to New Orleans, we took a 7th and we took a 5th, and like I think we maybe even could have done better than a 5th, but then Tony got injured, so it was like, so then I scrambling trying to find a partner, and then went with M, and we had to decide between Jen and John, and obviously like I haven't worked with anyone on tour except for Jen, so I was like, I don't want to give my opinion, like, because obviously I'm biased, like I feel like she's making me better, but I've that's the only person I've ever worked with.
Right.
And you've worked with how many people? Like, what do you think? And so we ended up going with John. And he's very different. Like, Jen is like on me all the time, like watching every move.
He's opposite.
Yeah. Jen is like watching my pepper.
Right.
And she'll stop my pepper and be like, "Why are you peppering like that?
Right.
Why aren't your knees bent? Why aren't you finishing your sets? Why are you lazy with your digs? I'm like, you're right. Like, why am I warming up like this? Like, she's on my ass like all the time. When we're traveling, she checked my mom once and was like, you need to like you need to not be so involved, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I just got out of college. Like, my mom loves it, and she like wants to be a part of it, but like, Jen's checked her, like, she's like on it with travel, and it helped me a lot because I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, we had meetings with Scott about what tournaments made sense for us, so I had so much structure. And John is like the complete opposite. Like, our practices were like, how does that feel? Like, what do you think? Like, what, like, okay, let's experiment with these things and which one felt the best. And like, for an off season, I think that's great because like, I still don't know. Like, I trained with Jen today with Jess Gaffney, and we're trying to fine tune a couple of things. Like, we've trained 1 week together. We leave next week, so we're trying to fine tune a couple of things. And Jess knows exactly what she wants. Like, and it's impressive. Like, she knows exactly where she wants to set. She knows that she needs like an apex on it. She knows she needs it in like, if she would rather have it be a little bit inside and lead. Like, she knows exactly. And like, I have no idea what set I want. Like, I really don't. Like, I think for me in my head, I'm like, I want to be able to like, you put it in this window, and I still want to be able to do well no matter kind of where it, like, I never want to be super picky with my partner, and that's something I need to work on, like, because obviously that'll help me get better as well. But with Jen, she's like, you need it like this, because she can see things and tell me. And John's like, let's like, why don't you start your approach from like the like pass the ball and then start your approach from right there. And I'm like, what? Like, trying all these crazy things, but like he seriously helped with my jump serve and all these different things, like helping me learn, like making me think. Because it's like really makes me think, because sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, like, what do you think? Like, what do you want to do? Like, I don't know. Well,
early on too, it's like, give me the answers.
I want all
the kind of guy where like when I was younger, I'd be like, just tell me the answer, bro. Like Jeff Nygaard, when he came in, coach, I was like, I don't know how to talk to you. Like, just a different type of communication. But nowadays, I like appreciate that so much more. But yeah, it's just very different.
Well, yeah, and coming out of college too, it's like you have your system, and that's what you're doing. Like, I want someone to tell me, like, this is our system.
What do you mean there's no right answer?
This is what we're doing. and John, he made me think, which is good. Like, I need to think more like that. So I mean, that's two different people on like two different ends of the spectrum, and there's so many different coaches in between. And I just where the stage I'm at right now, with no consistency in the partner stuff, like all that kind of, like, I want someone who like is gonna hold me accountable like that. Like, not that I'm like lazy and I'm slacking off, but like sometimes there's just things that I just like don't realize I'm doing, and someone who's like on it and who sees it and like she knows what I need to do. It's great. And John too, like from a totally different perspective. Like, I feel like I learned so much from him doing such different things. So it was cool to see both sides this season. So I'm glad I got to experience both. And then Jose, like, I haven't really gotten in with his. Different. I haven't really gotten in with his sessions because we were working with John, and so it's like now, like, maybe after the Maldives, like, I'll just, if I don't know like partner stuff, I don't know what's going on, like maybe I'll just hop in and go individual to those sessions. Like, I was going with Charlie.
Jose is more like Jen style, where like he'll tell you what he thinks and like, do this, try this. But I
feel like his pace, at least at the USA sessions, like Jen will stop, slow it down, talk about it, and Jose is just like rep, everything like that. Yeah.
But dialogue too. He's talking the whole time. I think the coolest thing is, the best thing you could do for yourself is to try different coaches, which I haven't been able to do too often. Just like, you might pick something up, you're like, I love this coach, I don't want to drop him, but then like you go with someone else, you're like, oh, that was a nice thing, I like that thing too. I want to take that, and then you can kind of bring it all together and make your own game out of it. At the end of the day, the veterans at the end of their careers, seem to consider themselves their own coach. Like they know
Yeah.
what they want, very specific. And when a coach comes in, it's very collaborative. And but earlier on, everyone wants to be told what to do.
Yeah.
So really, it's just about learning yourself and putting your own game together. But
Yeah.
by having different coaches, you learn all different techniques and all that.
That's kind of what I love about being kind of everyone's practice dummy. Is
Yeah.
that came into
Well,
the
and then
like,
you have
hey,
the
man.
podcast. Like Travis is the ultimate. Like he just steals everyone's stuff. Like, hey, you want me to practice with you? I'll go with your coach. Oh, I'll have every single person in the volleyball world on the podcast, so I can ask them questions.
Always pick your brain about all these different things.
It's pretty brilliant.
It
You
is.
expedited your
Letting the fox in the
career.
hen house.
Yeah. This guy knows what he's doing
Genius.
over here.
Genius. All right, I guess kind of to wrap everything up, what was everyone's, I don't know, it's weird because it doesn't feel like season's over still, but anyway, I guess it kind of is. Like, what was everyone's toughest loss this season, and what was everyone's, like, highlight moment?
My toughest loss, I had a lot of them. I'd say in Turkey when we didn't break pool, and I was just played the worst match ever. I went to the ocean. I was into the darkness. I just left, found the beach, hucked my backpack, just God damn it. Realizing that I just blew my world champs bid that I very much thought I should be a part of, and then was halfway across the world at an event that I didn't make any money at, that I didn't even want to be at. So
That's pretty tough.
There's one.
It's a tough
That's a tough one.
one. I think, I don't know, I got probably two contenders. In Australia, me and Tim were in the last round of the qualifier, and we won the first set 21-13.
Yeah.
Just smashed them. We were up 17-14 in the second. Ended up losing that, maybe 21-18, something bad. And then third set, we were up again, lose. And it was just shitting rain. Sideways rain, 20 miles an hour winds. And it was miserable to be out there, and it was really miserable to blow a lead twice and lose. And then losing the qualifier. And one stars, or futures, whatever, and you're not making money anyway.
Yeah.
But I was like, at least it would have been nice to get points to kind of add it up. So we were just there in Australia, which there are worse places to be stuck to vacation than Australia. That ended up being amazing. Just hang out with Zana and them. But so that's high. And then probably lost to Evan in Manhattan. We were up 2017 on him and Bill, and lost 22-20.
Yeah, I remember that
If you're
one.
sensing a theme about finishing matches, I think there is one.
Yeah, you
Had
should have
one
closed the
against
set
you.
out against us too.
Yeah. So they're probably those two. At least against you guys, I was like, it's so freaking hot.
Fort Lauderdale was so gnarly.
It was brutal.
Been tough.
It's nice when you lose to a team and then you're like, and then they win the tournament too. Because you're like,
Yeah.
well, at least that makes my loss look a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah. For a while, we were the only ones who even pushed you guys past deuces.
Yeah.
You guys kind of whipped up on everyone after. I was like, yeah. Transitive
Hell
property.
yeah.
We were the second best team in the tournament.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
13th. What about you? Worst and best moment?
My worst, it's weird because it wasn't at any big tournament. I go back and forth between when you lose the super close tight battles but you play really well, it's so tough to lose that, but at least you can hold your head high. I played a really good game and they may have just had a couple more plays. I don't know, I go back and forth if that's worse or if that makes me feel better. But and I had a lot of those. M Day and I had a lot of third set 15-13 or 19-17. We had one against Jess Gaffney and Molly Turner in Fort Lauderdale. We had one against May Craft and Stockman in Manhattan. We had against Pavin and Mackenzie Pawnette in Manhattan. We had that a lot, third set grinders. But I think my lowest moment was I went to Denver with Abby Van Winkle just to I wanted to go to Denver, and Tom Davenport was hosting us, and it just was I want to go play for fun, and the tour series is great money, and I think Abby and I could do well, even though we didn't really practice much together. We'd play together in college, and we almost beat the Maestrinis. We had won 2 games earlier. We played the Maestrinis our third game of the day. We were up, I want to say, we were up 9-6 in the third set, and we lost. Started raining, we lost, and we let Lily ace us twice up the middle, and that was so tough. That's a great team that we could have beaten to make it to Sunday. Then we lose such a heartbreaker, and we have to play another game that night to make it to Sunday. And we play Jen Keddy and Katie Dickens You guys know them?
Katie Dickens is really good.
She's really, really good.
I haven't seen Jen play. I've only seen Katie play with other people, but
they're
awesome.
a good pair. They're pretty underrated. They were in quite a few like pro series this year. Like they're a good pair. We beat them the first set 21-13, and the classic like 21-13, and then we lost in 3. And
the Theo.
Oh my gosh, I'm usually like not a sore loser like at all. Like usually I'm like, all right, life moves on.
Right.
And we lost, and I sat there, and I was thinking, like, I took a 9th in a tour series. I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, it was just a low point. Like, I was like, and I sat in the sand, and I remember, like, there were so many emotions. Like, Tony was there watching. She, like, came out just to watch and, like, be around volleyball. And, like, it was just, like, the vibes were weird. And, like, her and Evan and Abby's parents were all, like, drinking beers. And, like, the first set was so loose and we won. And then they were, like, oh, my God, I'll never forget this moment. Like, after the first set, they're like, Tony's like, drink a sip of this beer. Come on. Like, it was so, we crushed them and we were doing so well. And I took a sip of the beer. And then we lost. I just feel like I don't think it had anything to do with the beer, but I just think the energy slipped. And then like they were like, we started losing the second set, and they were so close to the court, and they were just like blabbing about whatever, not watching the game, and we were losing. And I turned to them like, can you guys like cheer a little bit? I can hear everything you're talking about, and the energy's so bad. Like we're about to lose the second set. Like I let all these outside forces like. It didn't really affect my performance, but like mentally it affected me, and then we lost, and I couldn't look at any of them for the rest. I didn't talk to Evan for like 2 hours. Like I couldn't, and I'm not like that ever. And I sat and I couldn't even look at them. Like I sat and
a lot of times it's how you lose that pisses you off.
Yes, and I just looked off into the distance. Like all the other courts were done. Like I mean, we're on like those outer courts in Denver, and I sat there and just like cried and had a moment, and I was like, I've never been so mad in my life. Yeah. Like, it was just one of those losses. Sorry, that was a long story, but, like, I could not even fathom that one. Yeah. I let all the external things affect. That was a low point for me, for sure.
I feel you. Yeah. Been there.
Well, we'll end on something high.
Yeah.
What?
I said, we'll end on something high then.
Oh, my high?
High notes for the
Sorry, put a damper on the mood.
Well, someone asked about losses, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't someone also like trolling us on these questions?
Yeah, he said this is what he asked.
He had like 5 different questions, right? Like,
he said, he had toughest loss. I guess this is like, he said, try losing to Hagen, try losing to Timmy, or me losing to Tony.
Hagen and them played really well when I played them, and it was embarrassing. Like, we were the 1 seed.
They played really well, though.
They played well.
They won their next one, too.
I knew we were playing bad at the time. Like, we were in a funk going into it, and we were, like, ready. All right, when's this going to click? Obviously, it clicked the next tournament. Yeah. But, so I was like, whatever. I mean, they played good volleyball. Really well. It's just embarrassing when you're the 1 seed. And then it was, like, 14, 13, I think. Yeah. I mean, sorry. 15, 12, maybe?
That was 16, 14.
Oh, 16,
you were down 14, 11 and 10.
Yeah, we came back. So it was like one of those things. Yeah. Not that embarrassing. Sorry, bro. It's like, so how embarrassed were you when you... Or what was there? There was someone else ask a question like, why were you scared of...
Same guy. He said, why'd you chicken out of the Paris Elite?
Oh, is that what it said?
Just hammering you.
I thought he said, like, why were you scared against Kim and Theo or something like that?
He probably said that, too.
He threw out, like, 10 questions. Yeah, whatever. Do I have to answer these?
No, you can just go with the high note.
Oh, yeah, high note. I mean, come on. Manhattan.
Come on.
Manhattan number 2. Chicago was a better game and a better, like, moment of winning that, and winning 2 in a row was really important to me. So focusing through multiple and like going through that high of Manhattan and then focusing and refocusing and.
I mean, Fort Lauderdale too. After like a lull of that was cool to see too.
It was nice to get out of our funk in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah. Chicago, Manhattan, but probably got to give it to Manhattan because
have to.
Not many people are on there once. But you jump about halfway up that list when you get on there twice.
Yeah, especially twice in a row.
Yeah.
Your match your final in Chicago was what I picked for match of the year, though.
That was epic. That was
Yeah,
my
epic.
match of the year for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Epic.
thought that was
I kind of
amazing.
loved Manhattan final though. Hey, ask Cam and Theo about that one.
I don't think that would make the list.
Whoever that guy is that asked that question. Was I scared there? No, yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. Sav, what's your high?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, Tony and I were on such a good run. We beat Zana and Brandy. That was a big one for us in 3 in New Orleans. That was a big one. And obviously, like, after that, it was tough after that. But I think just a high for me, like, it's easy to be like, oh, this season wasn't great. But, like, I learned so much about how to travel internationally. Oh, wait, what am I thinking? No, beating the Australians was a high for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot
Yeah.
about that. That was really cool. We almost did it twice, too, in the same tournament. That would have been, like, epic to make.
Portugal.
Yeah, that was a good one. So, yeah, I guess individual moment would probably be that. But, yeah, like, learned a lot from M-Day, like, on, how to travel internationally and, like, just continuing to... I still feel like I don't know anything, and, like, I feel like I'm going to look back and be like, what was I doing? Like, and I guess a really cool thing is just getting into the USA facility was a really big thing this summer, and I felt really lost last summer and during COVID without without UCLA, the weightlifting thing. So like getting in with Miles at USA is obviously really great. And like even yesterday in the gym, it was like me, Evan, Logan, Tony, Julia Scholes, Haley Harward, Tori Van Winden. It was just like a young crew in there, and it was fun to see we're like the development group, and to see how much it's
next
growing
gen.
and like how many great players are in there, and how we all had so much fun just hanging out, laughing, and we're all good friends. And so I think just getting the opportunity to be in there, and
Totally.
I think I definitely have higher goals and expectations, but I think it'll all come when the time is right, and I'm just continuing to learn and grow, and yeah. All good things.
It's definitely better
good
to
things.
think that you don't know anything than to think you know it all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
just-
think I'd be like, like if I was like peaking right now, like obviously I want to win and do well, but like I know how much more I can do, and I think it's exciting that I've already grown so much this season. From like I look at my volleyball now in comparison to college, and like what like I don't like I used to think I was good in college. Like I've grown so much as a player, like mentally, physically, emotionally, everything, and being able to compete with all these girls. I think the level is just so insane right now.
Yeah, that's true.
But to see where I'm at and to see like how much I need to learn is like ridiculous. So to hopefully see like where my game can go in the next couple of years is really, really exciting. And it's easy to get like frustrated when you're not like you want things right now, and that's something that was hard all season. But when you take a step back, you're like, okay, like there's so much, hopefully more to go.
Yeah.
I feel great. Mentally, I'm a little bit tired and burnt out, but I think that's just because a lot of travel and a lot of like tournaments that I left. Like, I want to freaking drink on Sundays. I'm sick of drinking on Saturdays. I'm over it. I'm really over it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
It sounds like you set a really good foundation for you put in all this foundational work that now you can go build up on.
Yeah. So, yeah. Definitely,
it's like
some
that,
positives.
It's like that Neil deGrasse Tyson quote. He said, as the area of your knowledge increases, so too does the perimeter of your ignorance, which is basically like a fancy way of saying like the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's so true.
And every year it just becomes truer and truer.
And then
Yep.
moving up here and moving in with Evan, and I feel like I'm a part of this community, and like doing game nights, and Try was in my house on my birthday. That was really, really cool. Like I have friends up here from all different ages and places and people, and yeah. So the more I think about it, this is great. I love this. I'm in a good mood now. I went from a low to a high. I'm feeling
Once we kicked Beto out.
Exactly. Yeah. What about you?
I think started on a great high when me and Tim, the 31 seed in Mexico, beat the 2 seed in the qualifier.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, especially in one of the coolest venues I've ever played. That Bull Arena was sick.
So cool.
And then I think getting third in Virginia, especially the way we did it, just like a marathon battle in conditions that were hotter than Fort Lauderdale, with Salila Tucker. And and Dentler, and it was like 27-25, 25-27, 15-12.
Yeah.
And then immediately, me and JM just like collapse, like roll to the ocean. JM's like, bro, I'm done. Like, had nothing left. And so we were like, all right, mission accomplished, qualified for Florida, drove home, ate some crab cakes, called it a good day.
Good day. I love it.
Ended on a high.
Yeah,
Good
I
year.
love it.
One of the few people who pulled out of a tournament on a win.
That's baller.
Hack the system.
That's baller. Yeah.
Always fun hanging, Sav.
Always fun to be here, guys.
Good to have the fan questions.
Yeah.
Beto, if you don't start lighting it up, you're being suspended.
Yeah.
Depressing.
Bring more.
Trolling.
All right, guys.
Right.
Shoots.
Shoots.
Good stuff.